Will. Welcome to the podcast.
How's it going, bro? Good to have you. Have me.
Good to have you.
Good to have you. It's weird being on this other side, you know. Sometimes I need to snap out of I'm not the host. It's not always about me.
No, I feel you. I guest on podcasts, and I'm always like, I end up going into like a host mode type of thing. I'm like, okay, I gotta step back.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But this is a long time in the making.
You know,
I'm
you
gonna
just
tell
said it was
everybody.
3 years.
I'm telling you, it's 3 years. Look, I sent you the picture. I messaged you on LinkedIn, and I asked you to jump on the podcast.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, we will, I'll let you know. And then I get a follow from you last year or like 6 months ago because
I didn't
on
even
Twitter.
connect the dots that you're the same person. I'm not even gonna lie. Literally.
And so I brought it up
Yeah.
again, and I was like, nah, man, I hit you up years ago to try to get you on the podcast.
Yeah, no, I respect it, man. Apologies.
No, man, I'm just persistent. I think that when it comes to like if I find somebody interesting or like find somebody that I really want to talk to, then I'm definitely going to be like, yeah, if the ball's going to come back around, like I'm gonna toss it out and see if it hits the wall, but or like the person catches it, but it's going to come back eventually.
No, I respect the persistence and consistency, man. Respect to you, Hess. Respect.
Yeah. But for my listeners, if they're not familiar with you, how about you introduce yourself?
Cool. So my name is Will Stowe, from Hackney, specifically East London. I've been into streetwear, fashion for as long as I can remember. My parents are my biggest inspiration, first and foremost, and then after that is my local area and the people around me. But I work full time at Nike as a senior content manager for live stream and just content in general. Then I just find myself across the board in different things within Nike. But outside of that, before Nike, I was very much in the DJ and party world, managing DJs, throwing parties. I still go out as much as I can, which isn't a lot, but you'll find me on the dance floor somewhere. But yeah, man, I write and I do a lot of voiceover work as well. So bit of different trades, man. Yeah, different
Damn.
trades.
You got all the pots cooking in the kitchen.
Man. You want to make millions, you got to do different things, man.
This is true. I mean, look, that's wild. That we definitely got to touch on the DJ scene out there and the music, because I love that. I love talking about music on here, and the correlation between sneakers and music and stuff like that. But I mean, look, you are a hard person to get a hold of, so this is this is an honor having you on, man. Like, it's crazy. And for listeners, we're probably not gonna be touching on a lot of Nike. Just
unfortunately,
yeah.
Just gonna be
We're
boring.
Just gonna talk about Will. It's just gonna be about Will. But since you're here, I gotta ask you the question, and the question that I ask everybody each week, and that question is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
So I'm gonna answer the question in different parts because my memory might make me a liar as well. But I say that the shoes that I needed to have, but that I didn't get, was Air Max 95 OG Neons. In East London, or just in London in general, maybe the UK, because it goes as far as Liverpool, Manchester, and Newcastle, was a shoe that everybody absolutely had to have. But at the time, the shoe was over £100. Unless your parents were like super balling, or you were selling drugs, like you weren't getting those shoes, bro. Like, keep it real, you were not getting those shoes. But there was a full uniform with it as well, and I had cousins that were older than me, and I think the uniform I liked the most, because there was a few, was the grey tracksuit, Nike cap with the swoosh, or the TN one. I've seen the small mini swoosh, or the TN cap, and then everyone kind of had like the one golf glove on as well. It was an absolute killer of a look.
Was that in like Summer House, Top Boy Summer House at all?
Do you know what's funny? Like, they wouldn't wear that because it's like that's a little bit before their time, but that is all based on literally where I'm from. Like the whole thing, down to like the names of some of the groups or gangs, if you like. Very, very close to East London, so very interesting the way that they put that together. But no, they didn't have that specifically, but like denim and like, leather jackets and stuff like that never go out of trend. So back then it would have been like Average jackets, or what were the other ones people had?
Pele's? No, is that a New York thing?
Not quite Pele. Yeah, no, not quite Pele. I don't think they were there yet. But I think there was a lot of like flight kind of jackets essentially. And then there was a lot of the Visu jeans, Levi's. Yeah, man, people were heavy on their denim. Machino, like, they went heavy on that stuff. Iceberg, like, You know what I mean? That was like what a lot of people would have seen growing up if you're like aged, if you grew up in the 90s or you were born in 91, 92, 80s, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Those were the inspirations.
That's wild because, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like we're around the same age, so like, yeah, the hip hop influence during that time is always just like
100, bro.
Yeah.
100. I think for us it's hip hop, and it would have been dancehall culture as well. I have to give the Caribbeans and Jamaican people their flowers, man. They came through with a lot of style and a lot of passion with the style as well.
I mean, you touched on the Neon 95, so I've never owned a pair, right? And it's one of those shoes that some reason like it eludes me, right?
Me and you both, bro. I still haven't owned a pair to this day.
Like I mean, like I told on Naya's episode, you gotta send the email. You just gotta send the email. Hey, you good?
Let me tell you something. So when I won't talk about my Nike journey too much, but when I started, because I didn't always do live streaming, but when I started doing the live streaming stuff, I remember there was a show where we wanted to get neons, because I think it was like 2020 or 2021 they dropped again. Really small batch of them though, and we wanted them for the show, and it just wasn't possible to get them. And then aside from that, I was trying to get a pair, and you would be surprised, like, because you would think it was easy. It was really difficult to get anybody to even listen to me. Like, I knew people that worked outside of Nike that were getting more access than me. You know, it was mad.
It's crazy.
Very much.
That's crazy. So then you said in parts. So Neon 95s is first. Is there a pair that you actually got that you were like?
The pair that I wanted, and I definitely got because it was easier pair to get. But I just don't know if that was my first shoe, because this is where I might become the liar. It's a Reebok workout. Reebok workouts were easy shoe, 50, 45 pounds. You can get them in the Little Woods magazine. Go to your local JD Sports, like First Sport, Full Sport. It was just a shoe that was classic. You got the black for school as a uniform, all white if you wanted to go out, all that kind of stuff. Really classic shoe. Just couldn't go wrong with them. And then the other one might have actually been, there's a Charles Barkley Air Force One in gold. When he had like a series of Air Forces as a low top. That might have been like the first pair that I purchased myself. Between that and maybe a fake 95, because I didn't get like an official 95, it was a fake 95. It took me years to actually really accept that they were fake. Because
how'd you know they were fake?
They weren't real, man. I know they were. Like, my friends, we used to go to there was a street market in a place called Braintree. I think it was like deeper East London. And like, my friends would be like, you know, £50 and get you like a whole tracksuit and trainers. And it's like, how are you going to get 95s and a tracksuit for £50? Like, it's got to be fake. Like, it's got to be fake. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, sometimes you get the deals, and then you're like,
in my head, I was telling myself it was a factory default kind of shoes, like, you know, the B,
like a B grade.
Yeah, B grade. Right. They were fake, man.
That's how you know you're into music, because you're like, I'm gonna call it a B sides.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it a B side. But it's definitely a B grade shoe, man.
Damn. Yeah, out here, because I was recently thinking about that too, where, you know, I wore a lot of Forces when I was younger, but you'd get those like shops out here that were selling 2 for $58 Forces, and it's like, why didn't think they were, you know, suspect, you know?
Yeah. Deep down in your heart, you knew, you just didn't want to accept it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I saw your episode with Jameson, and like, I think the comments to what you were saying, I think were being misunderstood, and I guess that's where culture comes into play, and a lot of people are not from culture. So like, I don't think anybody accepted that fakes were real. You just didn't acknowledge it, like, you know? Because no one's going to be like, yo, man, big up your fakes. They look crazy. It's like, you know, in your heart, if you question it and you really look at the details, Nike never made these shoes. You know that. Yeah? But there were just colorways that were there. And it's like, yeah, I think they probably could have made them. Like, and you got them from your barbershop who did Fendi belts, who also did Western Union, who also did phone deals as well. It's like all things in one place. You know what I mean? Also had like DVDs as well. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, me and Jameson were talking about that, like, after the clip just started going crazy on Twitter, because the conception was that it's acceptable because people weren't getting called out constantly. It was like, oh, do you know, like, now it's like, are those fake? Like, you wear Travis Scott's at Lollapalooza or something like that, you like those are definitely fake. Like you're not wearing something crazy out there. But
I mean, let me not lie, I've done some crazy things in my time, so you might get some crazy people, but I feel you on that one.
No, yeah, or now because like now we're so used to like, oh, if it's like a very popular shoe, it's 70% it's got to be a fake shoe. Yeah. So, but before it was like you don't know what it was. We weren't like up to everything, so you don't know the shoe. Yeah. So you're not questioning it until you're looking at it very close. You're like, oh, let me see the shoe. Like, man, what the hell? Does it smell like glue? Like, like, so yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. But I don't think you were leading with like, yo, man, look at my sick fakes. Like, I don't think anyone was doing that.
Nah, yeah, you just pull up, you just go through you walk through your day, you do your day, and then people in the hallway will just be like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's like a year later, you're like, then the news gets out, oh, remember when you got those Bapes back in the day? Yeah, yo, those are fake.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so I'm very curious. So I haven't had a lot of people from the UK on here. I've had a previous guest, K-Def, and he's like a big SB head out there. And he works for Forum. I don't know if you've ever been to Forum.
Never been to Forum, no. Never been to Forum.
Check it out. It's a very good spot. And like, so I got a touch of like sneaker culture out there. But I've always been wondering because I feel like the UK is mostly known for runners or trainers, right? That's what.
Or Air Maxes, basically.
Right, yeah. And I mean, Skepta's collab kind of like cemented that as well. So I was curious as to like sneaker culture, because you love, yeah, and we talked about it on Twitter before, where it's just like you love a lot of like streetwear and sneakers. So like that's where I come from. So it's like that culmination of it. But I've never really heard like an in-depth like talk about like how'd you get into the culture out there. Yeah, it's easy out here when you're in New York, and it's literally around when you just walk to DQM and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta see it this way. It's like a lot of this stuff comes from music culture. So again, like I said, dancehall culture is huge over here. So like carnivals, the dancehall parties, or the blues dances, which are like way before our times. Like those people dress to impress, or like a lot of the garage raves. So I mean, obviously that comes from the States as well, but garage raves was really people like dressing up in suits and ties and like great shirts and all that kind of stuff, or really nice jeans and wearing like white Air Force Ones, or wearing some loafers, really. Do you know what I mean? So I guess like the first point of call is like, what are you wearing to the party? That's the first point of call. It's like, what's your dress code saying? And there's also I say we were once upon a time big on individuality, like, how do I have something that no one else has? That's the first point of call. So there were shops and places that you went to try and get something that no one else had. Or if you were lucky enough, you had an auntie that was going to the States. So you were like, yo, you need to go to this Nike town. You need to go to that Foot Locker. I also need a new era cap from you as well. You know what I mean? Like you gave your auntie a whole full list. Now, whether you got that or not is another thing.
That's what I was curious about.
I remember, like, sometimes I got some new era caps. I remember once asking for a new era, and I got a D12 cap, and I was just like, thanks, auntie, kind of thing. It's like, I don't want that D12 cap. But music for sure is one of the first things. And I guess just local kind of like block culture, I'd say. Just being around estates, which is what you guys would call projects. People just naturally have their own style, start picking things up. I guess like styles are birthed out of comfort, uniforms for like being outside for like 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, doing all manners of whatever craziness as well. And then I guess the other side is football as well. Football hooligans definitely have their own style. So like, without a doubt, nobody in the world in streetwear, and I'll argue it to the death, would be into Stone Island or CP Company without football hooligans. Like, it starts with them and it ends with them. Like, they are the masters of this stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the reason why I love Stone Island.
100%. So like, their style was very like specific. So like, their jackets were either Stone Island, CP Company. There was also some other brands that Massimo Osti had as well, like Left Hand and can't remember the name right now, but the uniform for them was very much like Armani denim, Giorgio Armani denim. It would be Aquascutum shirts or Burberry shirts or polo shirts, collar up, some Burberry trench jackets as well. And underneath,
where are they getting this money from?
Bro, a lot of them jackets were being stolen. I'll be real with you. Like,
Okay.
I think the story or the myth that I was told was that like it started with Liverpool fans whenever they went away for like Italy games or like mostly Italy games basically. So they will
Hmm.
go away to these games, go into these shops and see these amazing jackets, run in same way the guys who did like the low life shit in New York would
Yeah.
run into shops and run out with loads of jackets basically, and come back to the UK with these sick coats that nobody else could get. Essentially, you know.
That's crazy.
So
It'd be
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm gonna follow this team, and then I'm gonna
yeah.
put in time.
Do you know what I
I'm gonna
mean?
put
Put
in
in work.
time to go
Do
go
you know what I mean?
steal.
Get these jackets. So yeah, I think the most famous jackets at the time were definitely like some of those goggle jackets, the ones that went over your head. Some of them with the watch and viewfinder as well. And then yeah, man, Stone Island is like the entry point for a lot of us is through the football hooligans slash like ex gangsters slash active gangsters as well. And a lot of those were white males, you know, to be real with you.
Yeah.
I mean, very, 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 very different. Extremely different.
I mean, look, I'm a big Guy Ritchie fan. So yes,
Yeah,
I
you
know.
get it. You get it. You get it.
That's my guy. I remember watching Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and just being
Big
like,
film.
"Yep, you got me forever." Because
Yeah,
after
big
that
film.
was Snatch, and then from Snatch it was just yeah, I became a big Jason Statham fan. Like
Yeah.
I've never missed a Jason Statham movie.
I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. But yeah, he comes from that for sure. He definitely
Yeah.
comes from that.
So like, what was high school like for you? Like, were you fly the whole time? I mean, I don't where because I'm gonna take a guess. Are you a first? Is it called the firstborn immigrant? Are you a firstborn immigrant,
Yeah,
or were
I'm
you?
firstborn. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
firstborn. Well, yeah, I'm firstborn to my mum and dad.
Hmm.
Born and raised Hackney. I would like to say that I was. I think other people would as well. So like maybe testament to that was when I got the Nike job. A lot of people were like, you know what, you've been doing this for a long time, so it makes sense, you know.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize how consistent I was with like you know trying to kind of stay individual in my style,
Hmm.
trying different shoes, colors. Some styles maybe I'm not so proud of now, but like for the most part, like I say, it stayed pretty consistent, you know.
What? Like what? Like what?
Maybe I'd say there was that period where everyone was like doing the whole backpacking and loud colors and vans
Oh,
and
the
stuff like that.
Kanye style.
Yeah, but more like what was his name? Was it Lil B? Was it Lil B? Yeah, Lil B.
A little B.
Yeah, got my Vans on, but he looked like sneakers. That kind of
Uh huh.
yeah, that era. Yeah. So I say the colors, maybe not the style. The colors was like not so much my steez right now. V-necks, I probably would never wear V-neck again. Like that's just, it's not it. You know what I mean?
Everybody owned a V-neck, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there was no way you could get away from it.
For real, for real. And then it was going crazy with pin rolling trousers and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But I guess I was way before our time anyway, and just kind of regurgitated stuff. But I'd say yeah, definitely was always interested in like other styling and like I think I took inspiration from people around me. Like I always met interesting people in school. Like one of my friends, Lammy, like she was one of the first people to have like a bandana around her neck, and I was like, yo, I
Hmm.
like that. That's really cool. So then I went to go find one and started doing the same thing as well. I think even before that, like when I was in maybe primary school, there was a guy by the name Skanks. I haven't seen him in years. I don't even think he really knew me. I don't really know him, but he had this. There was this Nike tracksuit that was USA big flag at the back, and it had like terry cotton on it as well, and it had it on the trousers too. So the top was like grey and blue, and the bottoms were blue. And he had nearly every single colorway of Air Max 90s and a new era cap to match. And I was like, that is style. That's crazy. Like,
That's
absolutely incredible.
crazy.
Absolutely incredible. Almost
I
like a
want to
young
know how he got
fabulous.
them.
Bro,
Yeah, yeah.
who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, he was into other things, so, you know. But yeah.
So, like, how do you approach your parents with that? Because I know they're probably looking at you like you're crazy for wanting to have all this stuff or
Do you
wanting
know
all
what?
this stuff.
It's just, yeah, it's mad. I think they could never think it's crazy because it comes from them. You know, like my
Hmm.
dad makes clothes. Like he actually he makes his own shirting, a lot of the traditional like Nigerian wear. Like he makes it and I wear it as well. My mum's always been like, you know, don't leave the house looking in a certain way so people don't
Hmm.
talk about me in a funny way as well. So like, you know, dressing up and like looking good is like a way of life and it's a standard, especially for Nigerian parents as well. You know, they don't want people to be like, yo, we saw so-and-so's child, they were looking scruffy. Yo, what's going on? Like, do you know what I mean? It's all about pride.
I thought he had a good job.
Yeah,
I guess not.
Do you know what I mean? Word gets around quickly, but in terms of like the things that I've amassed over the years, I've never had collections like this. I'll be honest with you. Like in terms of just like keeping it around, I've never had enough money to like keep shoes in, you know, in a big assortment. Like I've now got storage. That's never happened to me ever in my life. So definitely grateful. But I was definitely like, okay, cool. Keep 10, sell some. Keep 20, sell some. You can't go over a certain limit because I haven't got room for it, you know? So, yeah, man, it's definitely grown in different ways. But then again, I think my problem is bigger because, like, I actually wear, like, hard sole shoes as well. Like, I wear a lot of mules as well. I might switch it up sometimes. Like, so, it's across the board. Yeah, across the board, really.
I mean, you got the versatility, you know?
Yeah, try, man. Try.
Yeah. You got to, I mean, you know, being fly is a state of mind. So
100%, bro. 100%. 100% is the best.
I don't really know why. I guess the question on my New York brain is why do people in the UK call sneakers crepes?
Why do they call it crepes? That's a good question. I've got no clue why we call it crepes. You know? Like some things just I don't know. So I heard, and again, I'm going off tangent. I heard apparently that the term sneaker is actually a British term because something around like burglars, the shoes that they used to wear were shoes that people couldn't hear in, so they'd sneak around to choose sneakers. Essentially, that's the story. But crepes, I don't know where that came from. Like I'd say trainers as well, but like crepes, I don't know where that came from. I'd have to ask someone that's a little bit before my time, but it's an interesting one.
It's just I've never understood it, and then it'd be like, I mean, also I didn't understand trainers or runners. Runners, I didn't understand.
No one says runners really. Trainers is the main thing because it's like you would use them for training. You know, that's like the main thing. Crepes, I'm gonna assume that there's like, are you familiar with Cockney rhyming slang?
No.
So
wait, Cockney rhyming slang?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I know. Maybe the like, I've seen like videos of people talking. I'd be like, this is how people talk over there. Like that's
that's like proper like deep British like like not like Queen's English. This is like the Queen will look down on these kind of people because sometimes you wouldn't even know what they're saying. Do you know what I mean? It's like like what would they say? It'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get on my dog and bone and speak to you later. And it's like dog and bone phone. Do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. So like,
oh my god! Very, very I need to know now. Now you got me because I want to talk like that from now on.
I'll send you, bro. I'll send you some stuff. Like I think a lot of people do like British accents that sound like the Queen, but the real accent you want to try and master is like Cockney rhyming slang. It's very, very interesting, man. It's very interesting.
Because I'm also a big Edgar Wright fan, and so he did the Shaun of the Dead. And they filmed that in Hot Fuzz. It's all like all that is all in. I think isn't that in like the
like that kind of sort of that vibe,
Dog and Bone. I'm gonna start saying that. Yeah, let me call you back. I gotta be on the Dog and Bone real quick. I'll start saying.
No, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Oh man. All right, so your journey, like what? I mean, we know where you are now, and we know what you're doing now. But like, where was your first job? Like, what? And then what made you realize, okay, this is what I can do with my career?
For sure, bro. So I'd say retail is the foundation of everything. Like I worked more years in retail than I have in this current space that I'm in now. My first role was at a store called F. Lawson. It was in Dalston, which is our local shopping. Well, where our local shopping centre is, Kingston Shopping Centre. It's like a children's store. It was so dead. It was painful. It taught me structure. It taught me being on time. But then also just kind of like, sometimes like our parents, for the most part, work jobs that they probably hated, and that just kind of taught me, it's like, hey, get out and do what you need to do to make money. From there, got a job at Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister.
You were the front. You were in the front with the shirt off.
I was not the front. I was on the floor with my top on while I was in the stock room. Very interesting place, and I'll leave it at that.
I watched the documentary. It's very interesting.
Cool, yeah. Everything they said in the documentary is very, very true. And then worked at Le Coq Sportif. That was sick because that was like a very sportswear brand. They had some sick models at the time. There was a shoe that they did with Foot Patrol called the Eclat, and they had it in a turquoise colorway, and that really made a lot of noise. That was really, really good. Probably around the same time that Ronnie Flag came out with the Puma disc, and he revamped that shoe as well.
Oh, like, yeah. And then they started going crazy with the Puma disc. Like,
it's crazy that that's not back again, but that was a great, great time.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what Salehi will do with it.
It's true. It's true.
He might be like, all right, give me the Puma disc. Give me all the glories, the blaze, whatever they're called.
No, for real.
Yeah.
For real. So around that time, and then I started working at Calvin Klein for a bit. Worked there at university. Came back to London. Worked there on Regent Street, which is like central London where all the stores are. Then I went to J. Crew for some time. That was really eye-opening because I never really knew about their New Balance situation, and it was crazy the stuff that they had. The color, I mean, till this day, I don't think another department store has better colorways than them. If I'm being honest, they had some serious colorways.
I really like. I was gonna mention this on Jamerson's, but we were talking about Burn Rubber's Burn Rubber's run with New Balance. But I think that I really am a fan of concepts like run.
Yeah,
their run.
I'll give them that. I mean, J. Crew might have been a cheat because I was told that a lot of the stuff that they had was actually Japanese exclusives rather than colorways specific to them. But I don't know how true that is. But there was one that they did which was like a honeycomb collab, which I think was specific to them, and that just went crazy. It was like a wooden box, like amazing collab, like great shoe.
And are you still collecting like other pairs?
I can't wear them, so it's a waste of time. Waste of space. I will say though, so I used to do a lot of work with New Balance when I was at an agency. We started off this run club together. Loads of love to New Balance and a crew called Generation Work. Those are like my people forever. They started off a run club before like it became like maybe the second wave of madness, basically.
Yeah.
We started off a run club, but it was very like, you could be at a level where you could do like a mile a minute, or it might take you 20 minutes a mile or whatever. We all met up together, ran, got spaces for marathon or half marathon, did drinks, did food, did activations, all that kind of stuff. It was really, really cool. But they had got to a place where they actually started doing collabs with the run group as well. So they'll from time to time send me stuff, and like I just keep it in the stash, It's just as a respect kind of thing. Like,
So, I don't feel like knocking a little marathon out just to break them out.
Oh man, no. It's the thing is as well because like when my role like became kind of public facing with the live stream stuff.
Yeah.
It now would become such a conversation if someone saw me in another brand and be like, "Did you leave Nike?" And it's like, "Oh man, I did it. I just want to wear these shoes today."
Damn. Yeah.
It becomes a bigger conversation.
Yeah. So like, how are you finding community while doing this, or are you just like you're just working through it and then?
Man, it's interesting. So again, like I say, the live streaming side really kind of opened up another side of the community for me. I genuinely just like to talk to people, so I'll be outside at every event, talk to people in music, talk to people in fashion, all these different places. So I just talk to people generally, but sneaker community is very interesting. It's like it's different in different regions. So online it's great. Like I think the support that I've got is second to none. People really, really showed a lot of love, and I really appreciate every single person that was looking into those shows, giving feedback, nice or not nice. It was really, really good. But I think just kind of going to like local events, like Offspring will put something on. I'll go out there, speak to people. Sometimes it takes people a second to like recognize where they know me from. So like they'll say something and then like they'll kind of be like, actually, I think I know where I know you from, or like. Someone would said to me once, "I sold shoes to you in Brighton. Haven't been to Brighton in years." But he was convinced that he'd seen me from Brighton. But because I'd been a face he'd seen so often, he actually probably felt like I knew him like that. And he was like, "My bro, I didn't see you in Brighton. I've just been watching you on Sneakers Live. I'm sorry, man." So it's cool, man. Like, it happens, It can get confusing. But I'd say, finding community isn't hard. I'd say finding a difference in opinion or finding people who are into more than just the sneakers is a little bit more difficult, and this is why I'll give the US like a little bit more props. Like they have wider communities of people who are into all things. So like, it's
Mm-hmm.
not just sneakers; it's fashion at a whole high level. It's art as well. It's
Yeah.
cinema. It's food. It's sport as well. It's all one thing, and it's music too. You know. So like, you're not just into sneakers; you're into the whole ecosystem of what culture should be. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is a beautiful thing. So we have it here, but I don't think we have it as big over there, and it lasts longer as well. It seems over there too. So it's like people get to a certain age here, and then they do that thing of I'm gonna stop wearing sneakers. I'm not wearing sneakers anymore. And it's like good
Yeah.
for you, man. Like I'm gonna wear these sneakers forever. But like they'll be like, yeah, man, you still wear those? I'm like, yeah, I still wear those.
I
Do you
still
know what I
got my
mean?
crepes on. I got
Yeah, I
my
still got
crepes
my
all
Crips
done.
on. Unless they're crumbling or unless they're like really done, I'm not gonna stop wearing them. You know, I remember
Yeah.
I stayed in a hotel in New York 1 year, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember it was like she might have been like a janitor or something like that. This woman might have been like 60. She had these sick foam posits on. I had like these Salehi Crocs on, and she was like, "Yo, those are sick." And I was like, "No, your shoes are sick." And I'm quite surprised that you even know what these are. Do you know what I mean? And she's like, "Of
Mm-hmm.
course." But like, again, it's just all woven into one culture. It's not one thing or the other for them. You don't tap out. You're in it forever. You know?
No, yeah. And I mean, like you were touching on J. Crew's, like the J. Crew New Balances, and I feel like its impact is like the reason why it was able to, touch other communities without it
Facts.
being like, nah, this is just for the businessman,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
Ivy League kind of style. No, it's bigger than
Yeah,
that. It's definitely bigger than that.
for sure. So then, like, your journey on and J. Crew, like when does music promoting come in? And you're like,
Man, so
because
again,
you touched a little bit on it, so.
yeah, no, for sure. Being Nigerian, like you're just always life is a party. Essentially, I won't even lie to you.
Hmm.
Like you have a party when you're one, you have a party when you're 5, 10. Like parties are always happening. So I think it was really interesting when like started going out for the first time. My parents did carnival, like which is like a big thing in Notting Hill when I was younger. But it was always pool parties going on. But I went away to uni in Kent, which was like the Garden of England, so very quiet. And I mean, like I'm from Hackney, so everything's always bustling and going crazy. Kent
Hmm.
is like everything shuts at 5, and that's it. Like nothing open after 5. So very different life. So once that was
You can't
done,
get no fish and chips, nothing.
nah, bro, nothing. You can starve if you don't do what you need to do. Do you know what I mean? If you don't do the needful, you can starve.
Uh-huh.
Very different place, very quiet. But I appreciated it like as years went on. But when I came back, there was names of DJs and parties that I was hearing of. Like there was hotels that were doing like these basement sessions. Like they would have like DJ Mustard and YG pull up randomly. Like
That's
Virgil would
crazy.
play.
Yeah.
DJ EZ would play as well. Like really, really crazy, crazy situations. And I was like getting into the mix of it. Like I was having parties down the road and all that kind of stuff. But then more local kind of like underground parties, I was hearing couple names, and I was like, yo, like, who's this person? Who's this person? There was one name I kept hearing, which was Triple A. And then I remember meeting him, and I was like, bro, this is my guy. Like, I didn't know that he was even DJing and like that kind of thing. Like, when I left for uni, he was at this tall, and now, like, he's a bit taller. But,
Hmm.
like, I remember seeing that, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, he's got something with him, like, he knows what he's doing. Then I remember saying to him, I was like, yo, bro, like, I've just started working agency side. Like, you might want to keep doing your local parties, but there's a lot of money on the brand side. And, like, from a kid who's from the hood, he was hearing that, like, I don't want to party with weirdos, like people that dress funny, like kind of thing or whatever. I was like, all right, bro, whatever you say. So then I remember he went to one event. I don't know what it was. The DJ was horrible, but then he heard about how much the DJ was getting paid, and he was like, "You got paid this amount to play this bad?" He was like, "Yeah." Let me call Will. He was like, "Yo, Will, can you manage me?" I was like, "Bro, I'm barely managing my own life, but we can we can give it a go." You know what I mean? So started managing him, like kind of crashed and fell into it. Got my boy onto it too. But then we always connected with people who are older than us, and I think that's one thing I'll never change. So a really, really top guy called Judah. He runs a night with another DJ called Benji B, and they have a night called Deviation. So he was like, "Yo, bro, like, I think you guys got enough like power to kind of like throw a night of your own." And I was like, "Okay, cool, no problem." So I'm always like the person that will like rally up the troops and get everyone excited and we're doing this. Like, when we feel or not,
Yeah.
we're going to do it. So our first shot was like a split party. We had an amazing lineup. Got Carhartt to sponsor it because, like,
Damn.
the OGs had the power like that. And honestly, like when we didn't know what to expect because we just didn't know who was going to come. It was quiet for the first hour. I won't lie. Like the venue was like, "Yo, man, you said you were going to have this amount of people. We're going to shut the second room." Like This then other, bro. It hit like 12. We went outside. The line is going all the way down, and I was like, I'm not coming outside after this because it's gonna be crazy. Then the venue's like, yo, do you need more hours? We can open it for longer. It's like, bro, shut up, man. Like, you wasn't even believing in us. Like, just shut your mouth, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, from there, we kind of learned from there. And then tried a couple other ones, failed a couple times. DJing, managing DJs was still going good. But then I came across a bunch of guys through a friend of mine who were running a day party. I'd never been to a day party like that before, but they lived in New York, so they had that vibe of like, we don't want to go out at night anymore. We want to eat, drink, and be drunk all before 12, you know?
All before 12?
All before 12 p.m. All before 12 a.m.
Midnight?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Midnight, yeah.
Okay, that sounds more like me. I thought you were talking about noon. Like, you about to be like...
That'd be irresponsible. That'd be very irresponsible. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, so I used to come after work, and I was like doing a mad rally of like jobs. I was doing like one retail job, 2 agency jobs, and I was working 7 days a week for about a year straight.
Why?
Like, bro, I wasn't making money, bro. Like, it wasn't any money to be made like that. You know, all the roles that I wanted at brands, the response is always like, oh, you don't have enough experience, or we love what you do, but we don't know how to place you. And it's like, I want to make money. I want to put my name out there. Like, let me just throw myself at all these things at one go.
That's
you know?
Crazy. I hope. But if you're listening, please don't do that.
Definitely. I mean, I don't want to say I regret doing it. I wish I worked in a smarter way, but those things helped to get my name out there for sure.
For sure. But like, I'm pretty sure that burnout was real.
It was crazy, bro. I'm surprised I didn't get really sick that year. Yeah. Which is mad. But I still had time to party anyway. So like after work on a Sunday, my boy would be like, yo, come to Canary Wharf, there's this day party. It was like 1 million girls, bro. It was crazy. It was like the ratio was like 3 to 1. Like, it was nice. Like,
that's crazy.
Insane. So like he would be like, yo, we want to get our DJs to play here. I'm like, yeah, you sort that out. I'm gonna have fun. What's going on here? But as time went on, we joined that team. They've gone on to do some amazing things, and it's been like a real network of like knowing people in London who throw parties. Come a long way. Definitely some setbacks in terms of like police never really want to give like black parties the right access to spaces, or you can't play certain songs, or certain artists you can't have in the lineup. Same bullshit everywhere, really. But
I mean, I've never until I saw that Vice documentary on Skepta doing those like underground shows where he would like, he had the bus and you got to line up for the bus, you got to be there for the bus, and then the bus takes you to the spot, and then that's the only way you can see him rock. And I was like, that's crazy that you have to go to that lengths in order to get this.
Yeah, some artists are like that, man. I mean, or like, you know, Giggs is another big artist. There was a long time where like he just couldn't do any shows because the police would just shut it down. And given he was from a certain area, but like he's trying to make a living now, he should be given grace. But definitely different, and it's changing for a lot of people. So it's a good time right now. But yeah, man, that was the entry into it, and I guess you learn a lot just watching things on the dance floor, like seeing how trends come and go, or like different people's footwear. It's like you're gonna be on the floor for a long time, so it's like you better have some comfortable shoes, but you got to look good as well. So it's interesting seeing how people put things together.
What's the craziest fit you've seen, or like somebody wore some, like, especially on a dance floor? Because I'm always like, if I'm going to the club, I'm kind of wearing like, you know, I'm not always in the club, but like I end up at like one of these like DJ shows because I've been starting to go into more of them out here, but I'm always thinking about, okay, I'm going to be on my feet for like 4 hours or whatever. And then I don't want people stepping on me, or I don't want, and then you got to think about, okay, I can't do mesh, the entire shoe mesh, because if somebody drops their drink on me, then now you got wet socks. Nothing's worse than wet socks. Like, this is how I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Craziest? Like, isn't that the like wildest shoes like you've seen anyone wear to a party?
Yeah.
I might have to throw myself in there, you know, and say like, so there was a year I managed to get access to, this is before Nike, access to the Off-White Prestos, yeah, but all white ones.
The all-white ones.
For some reason, I thought it was a good idea to wear it to Carnival. Like, Carnival's like Labor Day. Like, it was, the shoe wasn't white anymore. The shoe just wasn't white anymore. Like, it just wasn't a good idea.
How many wears did you get out of them before you put?
They were battered, man. I got a lot of wears out of them. They were battered.
Before you wore them at
Not before.
Carnival?
Let me not lie. They weren't that battered before, but after it was like, yeah, these are finished, man. These are on their last legs. But like craziest choice of footwear I've seen. I've seen women wear heels to a field event. Like that is crazy to me.
Go sinking right through.
Yeah. That is crazy. That is crazy.
You might as well just came barefoot at that
Yeah.
point.
Or wearing flats, like, and you know it's probably gonna rain in the UK as well. That's very crazy. That's very, very crazy.
I mean, you touched on Pata. It's Pata and Para are both in the UK, or is it just Pata?
Piet Para is not from the UK. I think he's from Amsterdam. But both, yeah. They're Pata's from Amsterdam and Piet Para's from Amsterdam as well. I believe, or Swedish one too, but definitely not from the UK.
Yeah, but they do. I feel like that's. I don't know of any other boutique stores, but I know that they have a couple.
There's a Pata, yeah. There's a Pata there, but no Para. There's a Pata for sure.
Or like Colette. I don't know if you were big into Colette.
Colette's gone now, but like, yeah, that was like in France. That was amazing, yeah. So like, I went to that store called Present, and I wouldn't say they were the same level, but like, if we were gonna say like best stores in Europe, Present would have been up there. Jason Statham used to work at the older version of Present, which was Duffer, way back.
He used to work at it? What?
Yeah, I didn't work with him, but like some of the other guys did at the time. They have some interesting.
Well, you worked there too? Or did you just dropping this in?
So there's a brand called Duffer by a guy called Eddie, and that was in Covent Garden, and they used to sell they were the first to sell like Stone Island and all these Japanese brands, and Jason Statham worked there. This is before he became big and an actor or whatever. And then those guys shut that store down and made a store called Present on Shoreditch High Street. Same kind of level of taste. Like they were very much on that kind of putting your smart wear with the trainers and all that kind of stuff or whatever, but not in a suit to the Grammys way, but more like an Ivy League way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, you blew my mind. I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. It's crazy. Like, there was a lot of like great people that worked under Eddie, to be fair. And then just above us was a guy's agency called a guy called Craig Ford had an agency called A Number of Names. So he had the license for Bavenay. What else was there? BBC, Ambush, Bedouin and Heartbreakers. Yeah, loads of Japanese brands. Crazy.
That's crazy. Are there, because we talked about it on Jamerson's brand. I'm even more curious about it too, because I want to know if there's is there any like black owned boutiques in the UK? Is there, or is it hard to be?
Yeah, there is. It's hard to be. Pata's the only one, bro. I'll keep it real. Pata is literally the only black owned boutique in Europe, maybe in the UK. Like, I don't think there isn't any others, man.
That's crazy. Yeah. Why is it so hard?
There's no money and support, bro. And there's no access. I mean, I get asked the question a lot from different people, and like when they ask me, I look at them, I'm like, you know the answer, I know the answer. Why are we pretending, you know? Like,
well, I don't. That's the only reason I'm asking. I don't know the landscape.
If you live here, like, you know the answer to that already. And it's interesting because that, you know, the conversation will always kind of happen where people talk about access, racism, who's it worse for. I think it should never be a oppression Olympics, but there are more access points for creativity and being rewarded in the US, from my eyes, on this side, than there is in the UK at times. You know? Yeah. Like, not saying it's easier, but it feels like there's a better reward for like just being able to be brilliant.
The way that, like, I don't know, like the way immigration or immigrants are looked at here, and you know, the forcibly immigrated are also looked out here, are totally, like, it's like so self-contained that we know about it written in our history books, but I don't know a lot of what is about the UK and how, you know, that ecosystem or that the social construct of how the UK rolls, you know.
Oh, yeah, they're delusional here, bro. Like, you know, I mean, I guess the same as well. People talk about, like, send them back and watch your country crumble, literally, in seconds.
Yeah.
Like, in seconds. The smartest, most brilliant people, hardworking people in this country are all mostly immigrants. So it's interesting. And then when you look at, like, you know, a lot of design brilliant minds as well, they're from immigrant homes as well, you know. Like, you look at Cortez, like, it's Nigerian. You look at Gabriel Moses, Nigerian. Samuel Ross is Jamaican. Like, family probably came on the Windrush. Like, there's some serious, like, talent here who are not from the UK naturally. Like, but obviously their parents came over. You know, then you look at it from like maybe even like Eastern European side as well. Probably the same story too. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on Cortez, and I'm very curious because I don't, I have zero insight into how he does his things and like how that became such a big, uh, I guess designer. Is he considered a designer or is he considered a streetwear brand? I know
I'd
it's
say
like
he's a bit of both. Like you can kind of
right.
see the transition in a lot of the stuff he's doing, where like it's more cut and sew as like time goes on. Like they got denim now. There's knitwear in there too. There's like getting into kind of shirting with some of the polos as well. You're seeing some really considered pieces, but he is or the brand is like a product of being a school going through the school of just streetwear or products of like their environment is soaking up all the information, making mistakes, doing better next time, and really understanding their consumer and super obsessing it. You know, I remember when I was at Present, he used to come in and buy all of the Japanese second mags, Popeye, and just go through them. You know, I feel like he at heart is a very like nerdy person in terms of like studying. You know, and the people around him take it really serious, but I think that's a perfect example of like, you know, if you wanna go somewhere, go by yourself, or if you wanna go further. I don't know how the saying goes. You go together. Like they have a real team network and like serious talented individuals.
Yeah, I mean, I find his drops because I talked about like I wasn't able to get any of his 95s,
Oh
but
yeah, that was a difficult one still.
yeah. And then he did like a redrop too, where he had to go to his, and I was texting my boy like, please go there. And he's like, it'll take me 4 hours to get there. And I was just like, if you love me, please do it. So I wasn't able to get anything. But the way he drops his stuff, and I mean, we've seen the videos of the 34th Street Manhattan drop,
That was
and
crazy, man. That was
yeah,
crazy. I was there live. It was crazy.
yeah. Oh, you were there live too?
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, but like the way he does those drops, he's been doing those drops that way in the UK for so long. So he has a cult following, and we've seen that like in this time, in this current day, like we're able to see that streetwear can have cult followings now.
Definitely.
So you know, as you've seen this progression to where we are now, do you have like hope into what we're gonna see as like newer designers come out, or do you feel like Cortez is like one of these like one and he's like
Nah, I think he's definitely at the top of the game, but I think there's definitely going to be more like him. I just hope that a lot of people have the foresight to understand that their journey is not going to look like his or what it appears to look like. Because I think the understanding from a lot of people is that happened overnight and it didn't. You know,
I also feel like that's just a problem with social media. I feel like everybody
yeah,
thinks
for
that.
real.
I'm pretty sure somebody has definitely messaged you and was just like, "Who are you? Where did you come from?
Yeah,
And
legit.
why are you on here right now?" So yeah.
Legit. But no, I have faith that there's a lot of like great brands coming through. I think definitely going through like a transition of like maybe going through a fire of like all of the noise and the people that weren't really in it to begin with are starting to like being skimmed off. I think we're seeing the same in luxury as well. Like I've always said this thing where, you know, luxury fashion is going through an identity issue at the moment where like they don't know if they want to be streetwear, they don't know if they want to appeal to their luxury consumer. But I think people love them for what they do. So like seeing that Burberry's down by 50% and Hermes is doing amazing because they've never confused that their consumer is rich people.
Yeah.
Like it's never not going to be that, and everyone wants to aspire to be on that level. But when you start to like water down your message, then it starts getting confusing. You know, you mess up your top tier consumers, and then obviously the people at the bottom. You don't necessarily pay for everything. You're making streetwear clothes, but in a luxe ticket. It doesn't make sense. It's like look at the Prada's America's Cup. I'm pretty sure that was never made for the streets, but they adopted it and made it their own. And I think that's what should always happen. Like things should be adopted and made their own. Never make purposely like for something that you're not really in the mix of. It's just weird.
No, yeah. Streetwear and like fashion. Well, you were touching on the confusion, and I definitely I big up Virgil always for causing the melting
Yeah,
of
the
the
merge.
two
Yeah.
worlds. Yeah,
Necessary.
yeah, for sure. Because then a lot of this stuff was just getting shitted on constantly, right? But now we're having conversations where we're like, is Kith the next Polo? And it's just like, no, chill out. Like, you know, you can't create luxury heritage out the blue. You know, it takes time, right? You know, so it's just interesting how like the way stuff has been like just it's a weird mountain everybody's climbing, and it's curious because like I mean, I don't know if you guys had this phase where like you had it good, or like you was in top of the heap, like top of the social status is when you had a Ferragamo belt in high school.
No. Yeah, we had that period. Yeah, I didn't know what he was gonna say. Yeah, Ferragamo belts, LV belts, the DC belts. But yeah, Ferragamo belts were definitely up there. So yeah. But yeah, I wonder what that is for kids. Or I guess maybe for a lot of kids, it's that B22 Dior runner shoe. You know,
the Balenciaga joint.
No, the B22 one. That it's the Dior runner. It's like the vintage running shoe.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's like £900 or £1,000 or so. You'll see a lot of kids with like tech piece on with it. There's probably a lot of fakes in the market, to be fair, but even that fake, like I'm pretty sure, probably still like a £150, £200 fake. But B22 or B23 Dior runner, like you've definitely seen it. Every rapper had it at one point. Like
I'm trying to look it up right now. B22. Yeah. I see B2. I see B25. Yeah. Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. The Chrono, is it that?
Yeah, it's like got a lot of foam on it and that kind of thing. Let me see if I can find it. It's got like a lot of
Oh, I see it. It actually kind of, it looks like a wave runner kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've actually never seen anybody in the streets with these.
It's a younger thing. It's like teens or early 20s, or like, let me not lie, it's a scammer shoe, bro. Like you see a lot of scammers in there. Big scammer. Or like the B30. Stone Island just did their rendition on it as well. Check B30.
B30.
It's got CD on it, Christian Dior.
Yeah, I've seen these.
Yeah.
I've seen these.
But that was the shoe. The B20.
These is ugly as hell, man.
Was the shoe before. But bro, you'll see loads of rappers and scammers in them all the time.
I don't know and hopefully maybe you can expand on this because I've never gotten an answer. Why do rich people like ugly sneakers? Because you've seen how big Goose Island, Golden Goose guy.
Yeah.
You get like I've never liked any of the Balenciaga crazy like the tire looking shoes. Like I don't understand it.
I think Balenciaga is like what's this word? I think that's an experiment that no one's picking up on. Like that's definitely like a large experiment that he's gonna be like, I got you, because he's just making the shit bigger and bigger every year. But I mean, generally for people maybe who are from the hood, and I don't mean this in a rude way. It's like, how do I let people know that I've got money? You know, even though I haven't come from it, it's like I've got to put on the loudest, like most brandiest shit ever. Like sometimes I'm like spoken to people and they're like, yo, like I don't understand how you wear what you're wearing. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, some of your stuff is expensive, but no one's gonna know. I was like, yeah, because I don't want to get robbed. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I like that no one knows what I'm wearing. Like, that's cool with me. That they don't need to know how much my jeans or like my top cost. It's cool that it doesn't have a big brand in it, but I like the feel of it. I like the material. I know that there's a lot of craftsmanship that's gone into it. There's a great story behind it. Like, that's what that's good for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Nah, yeah, that I always say it, and I mean, I think I recently tweeted about it. It's just like, I don't know what the social currency, like, what is the top of social currency now? Because I call, like, obviously, you know, we buy expensive stuff, we wear it, and you know, it's to prove. Is it to prove that we have money, or is it to prove that we just cool? It's either or. But I always call it social currency because if somebody notices it, then it's like, yo, you know, you're waiting for that, yo, oh my god.
It's kind of turning into different things. I guess like at different stages, it'll be clothes, but it's also turning into watches. What can you afford on a night out? Like, how many bottles can you buy? And in some circles, it's like, yo, what's your house looking like? But all of those things have a real consequences, or like they're actually real situations. So someone might have a watch that's like really low key, but it could cost millions, but you'll never know. Or someone could have a house and it's like, you know, they really done it. Or they could get a house just because they wanted everyone to think they have a house, but they're in super debt and they can't even keep up with rent. You know what I mean? All the mortgage payments, and they're gonna literally die before the house is paid off, kind of thing. So I guess it depends on where you're at, man, or what circles you're in. Because, like, you know, I think maybe the assumption is sometimes people who work in the city or wear suit and ties don't misuse money, flashy. Some guys are as flashy as like the next people are. You know, sometimes their vices are doing a lot of coke. Like sometimes that's what their vices are. But then
Yeah,
the other
man,
side,
I spent a good amount on this.
yeah, bro. Like, but then the other side is like, yo, young boys like doing their thing and they're in the club just spending loads on the table that like, you know, at some point you have to leave. You can't go home with that table. You can't leave the club with them bottles as well. You know what I mean? So everyone has their vices.
Man, that's crazy. Just thinking about like, yeah, you're right. Because I'll go out and I'm just like, yeah, I'll spend such and such, obviously to buy like drinks or like food, and then you're like, yeah, it's not coming home with me.
Yeah, it's
Like it's
not,
just
bro.
you're using it right now,
Yeah, legit.
and it's like, yeah, but you're paying for that experience, but it's not for anybody else. It's just for me.
Yeah, for
So
you.
So I'd rather that instead of like, all right, I'm gonna spend 1,500 on a belt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I feel you. I mean, the craziest is when you don't actually like the stuff. If you don't like going out, but you're there because status, or you don't like the clothes you're wearing it, but you're wearing it because it's going to get you a conversation. That's when you have to take a look in the mirror and be like, hey man, let's take a pause.
Anybody in those positions is not going to take that pause.
Yeah, it's true.
They're already going. Yeah, they're already on to the next. Like, all right, let me see if I need to get this Vetements, pull over crop top see through. Like, all right. Well, so we're down towards the end of the podcast. I asked another question at the end, and that question deals with a little bit of visualization. Let's do. You got the Charles Barkley Air Force Ones, right?
I don't have it with me.
No, not with you. But like you did get them when you were younger. All right, cool.
Them,
so let's. I want you to think about you about to open that box as you were a younger kid and about to see them beautiful Charles Barkley Air Force Ones. Now you're you behind yourself. What would you tell your younger self as they open that box?
Keep them. Keep them.
What happened?
Well, I don't know, like there's a lot of shoes that I just don't know what happened. Like there was a Air Max 1 Lumberjack pack as well. Really good Air Max 1s. Don't know where those are. Like there's some pairs that or there's like these Dunks from Atmos with like ostrich skin on them as well. Like
with the gum bottom?
Yeah.
Yo, I love those. Yo, you don't know how bad I've been trying to find a pair so bad.
Midsole, great upper. Yeah. Bro, you're the first person to even clock that. Yeah, I don't know what I did with them, bro. Like, I had some serious shoes, and I'm just like, whoa, like, what did I do with that? Well, like, there was, like, these Samba Air Force Ones with, like, this meshy feel to them as well. They were, like, purple and, like, orange, really great materials. Yeah, some really, really good bits I've had, man. But, yeah, I would tell myself, keep them. They're a girl shoe. Really epic. Don't know what I did to them, man. Don't know what I did to them.
Perfectly said, man. Thanks for jumping on. Let everybody know where they can find you.
It's Will Stowe, HOS on everything. Twitter, Instagram, mostly. But yeah, man, Will Stowe, HOS. Hit me up on DMs if you ever want to have a chat. I'm always there.
Yeah, very responsive, and can have we're not yelling in DMs when we chat.
It won't take 3 years as well this time.
For real. And you know where to find me. I am Who Is House on all social medias. Follow the podcast on My First Kicks Pod. If you have a My First Kicks story, hit me up, myfirstkickspod@gmail.com. And if you want to watch this, My First Kicks on YouTube. Thanks for jumping on, Will. And you know what we say every week? Wear your kicks. Peace.